So a few days ago, I posted something that read, "I wish more people could stop drinking long enough to realize how bad alcohol actually makes them feel." And I was genuinely surprised by the positive response from so many different people. And then I realized that lots of people are making their way away from alcohol. And I used to drink a lot. I've got an entire video on alcohol and my escapades with it. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's pretty funny and teaches you quite a bit about alcohol. But I wanted to take this time to address a conversation that I'm having with lots of clients, especially those based in Tokyo, around alcohol, especially in nomikai season. Nomikais, or bonenkais, are basically end-of-the-year parties that companies typically hold with their staff to celebrate the year-end. And these are notoriously alcohol-infused events. And people go really hard in Japan. There's a massive drinking culture. And so again, a conversation I'm having with lots of clients is how to navigate these events without going overboard. The reality is it's very difficult to do so because the drinking pressure in Japan, especially at these corporate events, is quite high. But what I typically tell people is to just approach it first and foremost with a plan. Are you going to drink or not? Full stop. That's your first question. If you know you're going to drink, then you've got a series of other questions. Are you planning on having a blowout because it's your one nomikai of the year? Or do you have 4 nomikais this week and you need to kind of pace yourself throughout the week? Again, you've got to answer that question. Yeah, I've got a lot of nomikais, several each week, trying to figure my way around all of them. Okay, so then could you set yourself a hard cap each night for how many drinks you'll have? Maybe 2, 3, 4, whatever that number is for you. Again, that's a yes or no. Most people have a lot of trouble controlling how much they drink once they start to drink. I was very much that kind of drinker. I had trouble having any more than 2 or 3 drinks without just having the night be crazy. But if I just stuck to 1 or 2, I could pretty safely just have 1 or 2 and stop myself. So my advice to you guys, if you're in this season now and you're wondering how to navigate it, is to start with the first question. Am I drinking or not? If you are drinking, move on to the next question. Do I have a bunch of these parties or just 1 or 2? If you only have 1 or 2 in the month, you can pretty much just have fun at those and not worry about it too much. But if, like many of my clients, you might have 3 or 4 in a given week, you're going to have to navigate those events so you don't end up getting blasted on Tuesday and then again on Wednesday. It's just not going to work. So you move on to the next question, which might be, okay, I have a lot of these, so how am I going to do it? My advice would be to pace your drinking, which basically means to have a drink and then for the next hour, try to just drink something that's non-alcoholic. This can be seltzer water, water itself. It can be some kind of sugar-free beverage like a Diet Coke or something, but just try to get your hands on something that doesn't contain alcohol after you've finished your first drink. If you can space it out for an hour, that's amazing. Then have your second drink. Then ideally, space it out for an hour and maybe have your third and then maybe call it a night. You'll be 4 or 5 hours into this event or party. That's enough time to do what you need to do in terms of celebrating. If you're unable to space it out on an hour-long basis, maybe go with 30 minutes. It's not enough time to get all the alcohol out of your system, but at least it's enough that you're unlikely to go crazy overboard. And the reality is, like I said, after you have 2 or 3 drinks, it becomes much more difficult to manage your actions, meaning how much you drink and especially how much you eat. So a number, it's not going to really apply to everyone, but I'd encourage anyone who's trying to not drink a lot on any given night to have no more than 2, max 3 drinks on that night. Again, if you're having a blowout, that might be 7 or 10 or whatever your crazy number of drinks is. I used to go pretty hard. But if you're really trying to balance it and not go overboard, really just stick to 2, maximum 3 in any given night. That's an amount of alcohol that you can drink and process that night without really feeling terrible the next day. But if you go overboard and you end up at 5, 7, whatever, you're going to feel that pretty hard the following day. It's going to have a huge impact on your performance, your emotional state, your physical state, all that stuff I've talked about, especially in that other video. So more than anything, I wanted to shoot this because I've had this conversation with numerous clients over the past few weeks. December is a really intense drinking season here in Japan. So if you are going to drink, I strongly recommend you pace yourself through these bonenkais in particular or any nomikais that you have coming up. And if you're interested in learning more about this or especially how alcohol impacts you, check out the video that I shot before on alcohol to learn a bit more about how alcohol actually impacts the body. Hope this is helpful. If you guys have questions or comments, as usual, drop them below. And if you haven't already, please smash the like button. Remember to subscribe, hit the notifications button, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.